I know that your family is very similar to mine in many respects. I know that most families are dysfunctional. As a counselor, as I sit and I talk with people, I see the pain. And the greatest tragedy I see is that they're in denial and they do not know what's happening in their homes. They know something's wrong. Marriages are breaking up. Kids are running away from home. There's shouting and bitterness instead of love and harmony in the home. There's competition and meanness and littleness, and people are nasty and struggling for power, upset because other people are not doing what they think they ought to be doing, children not working, being lazy, and all of these things are piling up. And because of that, being a victim of that circumstance, I find myself some 7, 8 years after my son got into drugs, standing before you here, because at one time I was very, very desperate. I don't pretend to have all the answers, even most of the answers, but I do have some of the answers where I had none of the answers before. When my son got onto drugs, my whole world fell apart. I was very well organized, a very strong individual. All you do is work harder. And if the kid's not doing what he's supposed to do, just sit him down and explain it. And if that doesn't work, then you sit him down for an hour and a half and explain it. And if that doesn't work, you get out the paddle. And I was into power, and I was into control, because that's the way I was raised. That's the way I thought families functioned. Families don't function that way. They dysfunction that way. And as a result, I really got tweaked when I was a little kid. And I came up into my family when I married a woman. I brought all that garbage, all that stuff I packed into that relationship. And it made it very, very difficult. I have a hard time with intimacy, a hard time opening up, a hard time recognizing my feelings, because I've got to be all male, all macho. Only weenies cry. Only wimps have feelings. And so I was taught that you don't have feelings. I'm going to get into that a little bit. But what I intend to say first is kind of a disclaimer. I want you to know that I love my mother and my father a great deal. They're wonderful people. And they did the very, very best that they knew how. Each of them came from a very dysfunctional family. Each of them was in great pain when they married. My poor mom was just past 18 when I was born, and married a man, my father, 25 years of age, or 24 at that time, I guess, who was very dysfunctional, already basically alcoholic, who came from a home where there was tremendous religious pressure, tremendous tension in the home to conform. And so Papa had a real problem in his life, to conform or something else. Very difficult. When these two came together and had children, they created an atmosphere that was full of tension, lots of problems. We're going to talk about that. So I want to talk about my family, not because I'm so egocentric, but because I want you to know that I'm just very, very typical. In fact, I came from a very good home, really, in many respects, and yet a very dysfunctional family. And so I love my parents, and the things that I say to you today about my father and my mother are sharing confidences that are delicate and tender to me. And I don't do that lightly, but I want you to know they're wonderful people, and I love them very dearly. They're working through their problems, they're working through their dysfunction, but it's very painful. So somebody, driving a truck accidentally might back over you and break both of your legs. Now that was unintentional. Because it was unintentional, though, you can't say it doesn't matter. And you can't deny the fact. I have to take care of my injuries. I have to take care of my dysfunction, my fears, my anger, my rage over how I was raised. Because I'm passing that on to my children. And I want to show you that today. I believe that there's many things that could be said. Many things won't be said, but I want you to relate to what is said. Okay, let's get started.